Bryan. How are you guys doing, guys? So we are back yet again with another YouTube live. So welcome back, everybody. How's it going, Yak Fissin? What's ironic is he said Bryan is on his way. Somebody get this place cleaned up. What's ironic is I was trying to get everything set up and cleaned up, which is why I'm like 3 minutes, 4 minutes late to the stream. But hey guys, welcome back to the stream. I'm happy to have you guys here. So if you're new to the stream, be sure to go ahead and drop any questions that you may have, whether it's related to cars, tools, etc. But again, pretty much every single Friday we gather here, we huddle up, and we talk about tips, tricks, cars, whatever it is, you name it. And I answer all of your YouTube car questions. So, there you go. Oh yeah, you late. All right. I was about to do it myself. You funny, X-Fissin. This guy. How's it going, man? Really happy to have you on the stream, man. We missed you last week, bro. So really cool to have you again. So yeah, guys. So be sure to drop any questions that you have down below. Again, it could be about anything. It could be about cars. It could be about mechanics, starting out as a mechanic, what to do as a mechanic. If you want to work your own shop, what's tool brand you like, what's hand tool brand I recommend, what's the best bang for your buck when it comes to tools, whatever it may be, even on your own car. If you're having trouble doing a clutch, if you need advice on doing a clutch or doing this or doing that, I am more than happy to help you guys out. Yakfison said, y'all ain't choke on no oil this week, have you? He said, what? Y'all ain't choke on no oil this week. No, yeah, I guess not, huh? Doing good. Good to be here. Yeah, I'm happy to have you back in the stream, man. Yeah, if you have any questions, drop it down below. And again, everybody, as you join the stream, my goal is, as you guys join the stream, I answer all your questions that you may have been going on about. Now, if I don't get enough questions in the chat, I'm going to go ahead and start answering some questions that I generally get a lot on my videos in general that I have in the top of my noggin here right now. But yeah, if I don't get any, I'll go ahead and start answering some common questions that I've heard in a lot of the comments. But also be sure to drop where you guys are watching from too, and to answer the poll. Speaking of the poll, let's see how many of you guys have been answering it. Okay, let's see. Oh, I see myself back here. That's hilarious. Hold on, let me put the pop-out chat. That's hilarious. I have myself in the background. Okay. All right. So we have 75% of people started out with Craftsman, and we have 25% of people started with Snap-on. That's kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Really crazy. Really crazy to hear. All right. All right, guys. Let's get to these questions. Drop down below, and if you guys don't have any questions, I'll go ahead and start getting into it. Don't forget the likes. Yep, guys, be sure to hit that like button also if you're liking the stream. But let's go ahead and start getting into it, since I'm not getting that many questions as we're starting out just right now. So, all right. So the common questions that I get asked a lot as a mechanic is, Bryan, how did I get started? Oh, we got Flatlander. Good evening, Bryan. Great to see you live, mate. Yeah, really happy to have you here, man. But I'll go ahead and start talking about the best way to go about starting as a mechanic. Now, a lot of people are a little weary. They're like, where do I start? What do I do? What's the best way to go about it? And honestly, there's so many avenues that you can go when it comes to working on cars, when it comes to becoming a mechanic. You can go the route of just becoming an apprentice, and you work with a higher up tech or a master mechanic, and they teach you kind of the ropes, and you work alongside them, and you go with an apprenticeship. There's also a couple other things that we can do when it comes to starting as a mechanic, and it's actually learning on your own. A lot of us mechanics are self-taught, or we learned on YouTube, or we learned from, we were working beside someone and we caught something that they do. But a lot of us, there's plenty of routes to go. You can go the school route. You could actually go to like something like LTI or UTI, whatever technical school, and they teach you a lot of the fundamentals when it comes to being a mechanic and working as a mechanic. And you can also go the route of, again, learning it on your own. I have a couple uncles and relatives that learned on their own by, YouTube wasn't there for them back then, so they went to junkyards. They go to junkyards and take apart stuff and put it back together, and just kind of self-taught, teach themselves, basically lots of experience is what makes you into a great mechanic. Actually, we got a lot of people coming in. Hey, Mark J. Larson, Outdoors. Hello, Brian. I really appreciate your videos and tips. No problem, man. Mr. Anonymous is self-taught. Let's go. Are you self-taught because of YouTube, or are you self-taught because you taught yourself? Let me hear what you got to say about that, Mark. Mr. Anonymous, EDAG Lee, game changer. Yes, sir. Dope Boys says, what's good, Brian? Appreciate the free game, brother. Salute from Pasos, I can't even pronounce it. Robles, California. Yak Piston says, Brian, around here, a lot of folks start out as oil changers at dealerships, though through hard work and watching other techs, they eventually catch and start learning. Yes, that's actually a common thing that happens with us as well. A lot of people go and they'll become an auto technician or a lube tech, and dealers and Pep Boys and let me think what else. Sears back then. Sears, Midas in general, they'll start as a lube tech or an automotive technician, and they'll kind of work their way up. I actually had a buddy who went the same exact route. You start small, you start changing oils, flipping tires, rotating tires, doing all that small mess, and then you work your way up. That's a very good point that I forgot to mention. Thanks, man. How's it going, Kev? Yo, what's up, man? Newman says, I taught myself to replace PCV valve from YouTube. Hell yeah. That's awesome, man. I'm glad. That's, again, a lot of stuff, even for DIY people, even if you're not going to become a mechanic, a lot of the things you can learn on YouTube, you watch people do it, watch a couple videos, and then attempt it yourself. Obviously, some things don't go as planned, because obviously this is how it goes. Some stuff on YouTube, super easy. Sometimes it doesn't go as planned. So, it happens, and that's how you learn. The Flatlander says, I learned something new from every hack vid you post. Almost 70 years here, and I love tinkering on vehicles. That's really cool, man. Yeah, I'm really glad I could teach you something new. And that's really awesome. 70 years is insane, man. That's awesome. Matt Storing says exactly what I'm doing right now. Ha. All right. That's awesome, man. That's a really good way to go about it. I know plenty of people who do that, and I know plenty of people who are great mechanics going that route. You just got to learn the ropes. Victor Stevens says, I'm currently learning a bunch from you, my brother. I'm also learning in a shop around where I live. That's awesome. Hey, I'm glad I'm teaching you a lot, man. And yes, shop is a great way to learn. You guys, when you're working on cars, the best thing, actually, my best piece of advice is you got to be a sponge. What I mean is that you got to be able to absorb as much information as possible from everyone, not just, the shop that you're at, but let's say from YouTube. Let's say from, you have an old school uncle who works on cars and he has a couple tricks and tips off his sleeve. Learning from as many different places as you can is going to make you a great mechanic or a DIYer, because you're capable of learning different methods and applying that logic to whatever you're working on. So, really good thing to do. Mr. Anonymous said, I had a canvas fault on the DTC cleared, and the fuel gauge is now working. So far, so good. That's awesome, man. Congrats. One slow, I'll just say one slow. What's the problem with my engine when there is no oil in it? Should I put water? I really hope that's a joke. I really hope that's a joke, Slow. Don't put water in your engine. Mark J. Larson says, I have bought a lot of tools that you recommended, and it really helps. Yeah, I'm glad, man. Yeah, guys, a lot of the tools that I recommend, or I'll do videos where I'm like, the free tools that every mechanic should own. I love making those videos because genuinely those are tools that I use in the shop and that I like, or that are mind-blowing to me, or that are useful. So tools that I typically recommend that are linked to the top of this chat and in my YouTube channel description are tools that I stand by. If it's linked, I stand by it because it's tools that I use in my shop. I'm not recommending you guys tools that I don't have. I'm recommending you tools that I use, that I love, and that I think are worth the price. Some can get a little scarce, but they are worth the investment. However, they are not needed. Some you can go down the cheap route, and there's plenty of cheap options that I put down in the links below. But I'm really glad that's helping you out and that you're enjoying the tools, man. CL says, easiest way to find an AC refrigerant leak. So usually, there's plenty of places that sell a type of dye that essentially you inject into the AC system. They give you these UV glasses, and then it can obviously, with the UV glasses, it'll show you directly where the, like, you know, the very highlighted leak is. So that's the best way to go about it. Make sure your refrigerant is full, you know, your system's full with refrigerant. Put the dye in, and then boom. That's a really easy way to do it. A lot of people do that, you know. Even Scotty Comer does that. Tasia, I can't pronounce that name, says, hi, how's it going? Mr. Anonymous says, gonna repeat myself. How cool is King Bolin E-Diag Elite for value? Oh, sorry, I saw the E-Diag Elite, but I didn't see the King Bolin. I have one King Bolin that I have to make a video on. And I know that one was really cool. I don't know if it's the I don't think it's the E-Diag Elite. But I'll have to definitely look it up. Let me see if I have a pen nearby. If I have a pen nearby, maybe I can write it down so I can look it up later. Here, 1 second. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. All right, so I actually write that down so I could get back to you later. E-Diag King Bolin. Worth the money. All right, I'll check that out for you, man. After the stream ends, be sure to drop a comment on the stream once it's officially posted and stuff, or on any video, and be like, hey, Brian, is it worth it, blah, 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 and I'll try to get back to you. I wrote it down right now so I can try to remember, so I can check out. At least if I don't have it, I can see if, to me, it's worth it. Anyway, Newman says, I heard mechanics get mistreated at dealerships and decide to change career in droves. I don't know what that means, in droves. Is this true or is it exaggerated? Some dealerships, yeah, they, you know, service advisors and people treat the mechanics like garbage, or sometimes they're just, you know, a-holes, and they do that. It happens in regular shops too, more common in dealerships, but it can happen. Just like any job, you get into a job, and a lot of the times they're mistreated, you know? But especially in something like a dealership, because it's flat rate, that's what happens, you know? Sometimes there's a lot of, you know, mistreatment that goes on. So it can happen. I'm not saying it happens all the time, but for sure, Newman, it can happen. You just, you know, it's something, like I said, it's just with every job, you know? Let's say if you work at a McDonald's and some people mistreat you, it's like, it's that type of stuff. It's not like every dealership's going to mistreat you, but there's definitely some service advisors that are butts, you know, and stuff like that happens. Bravo Jingo says vent valve works, but the car doesn't turn it on even though there's power going to it. What do you think I should check? Vent valve. What are you referring to? Because maybe I'm just not, off the top of my head, I'm not getting the question. Jimmy Kimmel wants to invite you to do 3 minutes of webcamming during the show. What? Never mind. Jimmy Kimmel changed his mind. I'm dead. Chicago said hi. Hey, how's it going, man? Canvas Auto Electrics. I'm gonna need a multimeter. Yeah, you can. Multimeter I highly recommend is Fluke. Fluke sells a really good multimeter. Yeah, one that's slow. It's a joke. I'm glad it's a joke, man. Oh wow, I'm really behind on all the questions. Sorry. What's up, Echo? How's it going, man? Yak Fiston says, you don't mistreat in my city. The mechanics run the show these days. Yeah, it's definitely based on city, area, and just people. Some people are just a-holes, you know? Some people are just whack. Yeah, everything's well, Eco. Let me make sure I get to everyone. Can I get a shout out to my friend? You tried it. You tried it. You tried it, bro. You really tried it. Peter Pascio says, I bought a used 2010 Corolla, and when I tightened the engine oil drain plug, I can't get it into the recommended torque specs. It gets tight at one point, and then if you continue, it turns some more. Oof. What happens is the thread's stripped. So pretty much what you're going to have to do is drain all that oil out, and then you're going to have to get a tap and die set, and you're going to have to re-thread the threads on that oil pan. Because if you just leave it like that, it's going to leak. So the threads are stripped on that, so you need to tap and die that thing. Best 3/8 and quarter-inch socket set with no skips. Whew, quarter-inch too. I'd say if you're talking 3/8 and quarter-inch, how high are we going? Are you talking about just a socket rail or a full case? You know, if we're just talking socket rails, Vim Tools has some good ones. Husky has great ones and they're affordable. I love Husky. Sonex has some. I'm not sure if they have chrome though. I know they have a really good impact set. I love Sonex's impact sets. They're awesome. Matco, but Matco's a bit pricey. But yeah, Sonex, Vim Tools, Gear Wrench I believe has some. I'm trying to think of another one. Another quarter-inch drive set. If you guys know some off the top of your head, let me know. Because off the top of my head, I don't remember. But Matco has some good ones for sure. Let me make sure. Hey, how's it going, Mark Olson? Really happy to have you on the stream, man. I almost missed your comment, bro. Can you recommend a tire changer / wheel balance align? Wait, what? Changer / wheel balance and alignment for DIY? What do you mean, like Newman? Are you talking about like you need a machine, you want to buy a whole machine for that? Like, what are you talking about? Like a good place to do it? I mean, there's plenty of like tire changers that you can do at like, are you? I don't know if you're just talking about like you need a facility, like take it to Pep Boys or Firestone, or if you're talking about like legitimate the equipment for that type of stuff, because it gets pricey to get equipment for that type of stuff. That shirt goes hard. Thanks, Jake. Hey, I love this shirt, man. How's it going, Ricardo Rocha? Hey, Toolbox Tour is definitely in order. Yes, Flatliner. I'm supposed to be doing one next week. I was going to do one today, but the problem is I was running late. You know, I had to get to the stream in time. So I'm going to try to see if I can record a Toolbox Tour next week. Top tips you give. Love them. Thanks, man. Are you saying you want more top tips, or are you saying you love them? You love the top tips. Paul's tour review says Icon, Milwaukee, Quinn, sockets, sets should be all no skips. Oh yeah, Icon, yeah, you're right. Icon's really good. I know Milwaukee has no skips. And then Quinn, yeah. I've heard good stuff about Quinn. I watched the movie Kingpin Bowling movie, and I want to put sugar in enemies' fuel tanks. You wild, bro. All right, I'm doing the cooling pipe, and I just can't get the seal in. Do you have an idea or tip for me on what best to do? What you can do is they actually have if it's like an O-ring, cooling pipe, and I can't get the. If you're talking about the little small O-ring for it, what you can do, they actually sell like greases for O-rings. So you put it on and then it makes it slip onto the spot a lot easier. A lot of times you could also coat it with coolant. Coating of coolant helps, you know what I mean? But they actually sell a grease for that too as well. So that helps. Let's see. Any questions I missed. Yeah, Tecton has a really good set, Mark Olson, you're right. No problem. I can't pronounce your name, but he says thanks for the videos and hello from Russia. That's awesome, man. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. Guys, be sure to drop where you're watching from. What state are you watching from? Where it's at? What country? Drop it down below. And while you're dropping it, be sure to hit that like button if you're enjoying the stream and drop all your questions. If I haven't got to your question, just go ahead and drop it again. I might have missed it. Again, all the questions are coming in very fast. Oh, hold up. I thought my arm was dirty. But yeah. What's your stance on Porsche? Do you like it or not? I like Porsche. Porsche is nice. I really love Porsche. Working on them can be pretty annoying. Not as annoying as Audi, but pretty annoying. But yeah, I love Porsche. You know, the Porsche Carreras, Porsche 911s. I love Porsche, the GT3s, GT2, the Turbo S's. I love Porsche, you know. Porsche is definitely one of my brands that I like. Hey, B, it's good to see you are back with another episode. Hell yeah, man, no problem. How do you tell if a job is out of your league as a DIYer? I mean, usually you get a gut feeling where it's like you feel like you're a little bit over your head, you know, or if it's just a lot of stuff that you haven't experienced and it's a big job. Like let's say you never did an oil change in your life, right? Or not oil change. That's a little too basic. Let's say you have, you've done control arms, this, and that, but you're trying to do a head gasket, and you've never done anything similar to a head gasket, and you need to do this job very quick. That's the example of, you're doing something pretty big and you're trying to time crunch it into a small thing. Now, I'd say what the best way to go about if it's way out of your league is to watch a bunch of videos on YouTube. And I mean a bunch. I mean from different people. Like 5 different videos from people. In the videos, they'll usually say it's a little bit intermediate of a job, but in general, regardless of whatever they say about the job, as you're watching it, if you feel like, hey, that's a lot of stuff to take apart, or if you're getting very nervous, like it's way too much stuff that you've never done, that's usually an indicator of, hey, I'm a little bit out of my league, It's a little bit out of my league. But usually for a DIYer, like, I feel like it just gets out of your league when you start dipping into, like, rebuilding an engine and stuff like that, because that's a little bit way more complex. You can do it, but it gets very complex because it's a lot of knowledge that goes into it. Engine swapping and transmission swapping for a DIYer can be complex on a more advanced, newer car versus, like, the old cars. But, there's plenty of stuff that can be out of your league. It's just you're the one to differentiate that. Great tips. Have an 06 5.3 liter Silverado. Is it true that it has electric steering? No need for fluid? Well, I mean, if there's no power steering reservoir, it's an electric steering rack, So that confirms that it's not, that you don't need it. What's the best way to loosen a crank pulley bolt without help? Best way to loosen a crank pulley bolt? Now, there's 2 types. Sometimes you need a special tool, like on a Honda. You rent that tool for about, like, let's say $20, $30, $50. You hold it, you put the breaker bar, and then you impact it out. Or you just get a very big breaker bar with a pipe and then break it loose, because that tool holds the crank pulley in place. Now, the best way to go about it, if it's really stuck and you're using an impact gun, let's say it's on a normal car, you're using an impact gun, and it's not coming out, use a very good amount of heat the area, make sure it's nice, and heated and everything. If it's a manual car, put it into the car into gear, so, it's locked in. And then, and then just zip it out. That's the best way to go about it. Just plenty, if a pulley is stuck, the bolt's stuck, most of the time you might need a specialty tool for it, What's the worst repair you've ever had to do? Worst repair I've ever had to do. Man. Trying to think. Worst repair I've ever had to do. Worst repair I've ever had to do. I can't think off the top of my head, man. Yeah, I can't think off the top of my head. I think for sure one of them was the freaking, I had to work on an Audi Q7 and I had to pull the motor on that thing. And transmission, motor and transmission. That thing was a headache. So that job was horrific. I think that was the worst and hardest car I've worked on, an Audi Q7. It's like a big, heavy SUV with a huge motor. Such an annoying car to work on. Other than that, I think it was a transmission on a Nissan Spec V or whatever it's called. It's so annoying, guys. You have to drop the entire subframe just to get to drop the entire subframe, disconnect the rack and pinion from it, from the subframe, from the the column, drop it all together. Then you support the engine transmission, disconnect the transmission, drop it, put the clutch in, and then drop it back in. It was such a headache because I was doing it on the ground in a parking lot. So that was such a headache for me, man. I think it's a Spec V. I don't, low bubble, I'm not sure. I think it's a Spec V. It's a Nissan Sentra, like Spec V or something. It's something. Someone can tell me in the comments. I know there's someone. Yes. Yeah. What do you think about SR? Yeah, that car has that engine. Hey brother, I love your videos. Helped me out so much. Thank you. No problem, man. What do you think about the SR20? SR20 is cool. I like it. I hear you, Yak Fishing. What did you say, Yak? I couldn't fix her. I'm dead. That's crazy. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, Audi is a big headache, man. Worst repair was trying to fix my ex. The hours flagged weren't worth the time invested. You're hilarious, bro. Let's see. Sorry, guys, if I'm missing your question. I'm trying to get to all of them as quickly as I can. Yeah, Newman, I definitely think you should get a manual transmission vehicle. They're awesome, they're fun to drive, and they're awesome to work on. So definitely get a manual transmission. Love from the UK. Hell yeah, man. Thanks, man. Thanks for dropping in. Go manual, then you'll also get better gas mileage. If you're not going too crazy on racing, yeah. But yeah, it definitely helps the gas mileage. Samuel, sorry if I'm slaughtering your name. I watched all your shorts on suggested tools and mechanic tips. Good stuff. Keep it up. Thanks, man. Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it. Anita says, great videos. Love that everyone has me learning more. No, hell yeah, no problem, man. Guys, be sure to drop a like if you are enjoying the stream, by the way, and drop a question if you have any. Again, I'm sorry that I might not get your question right away. There's just a lot of questions and stuff in the chat, so it's hard to get to. If you want to expedite it, you could always super chat it, and it prioritizes it. Yeah, Paul's Tour Review says, remember to give Brian some likes. Thanks, man. All right, best brand you worked on and worst. I work on 4. All right, so Navin says the best car to work, best car brand you worked on and the worst. I work at Ford, and it's a bit of a pain sometimes. So the best car brand to work on, in my opinion, has got to be Honda, Toyota. I'm just gonna say Farig, you know. So Honda, Toyota. There's one more that I really like. Honda, Toyota, and then I'm trying to think of one more. Mazda. I like Mazda. Mazda's pretty nice. So those three. Mitsubishi can kind of be pretty nice too, but the ones that I hate though is Audi, Volkswagen most of the time, Audi, Volkswagen, and those are technically the same brand, but they're both configured completely when you're working on them, guys. Believe me. So yeah, and then I believe there's one more that I really hate. Volvo. Oh my god, I hate working on Volvo. All right, India. Does motor oil keep your curls healthy? Yes. How do you know, man? How do you know? How do you know? Okay. Let me make sure I didn't miss any other questions. Anything European is just have weird engineering. Yes. Mercedes sucks too, but not as bad as Audi and VW. German hater, LOL, just kidding. Nah, I love BMW. I love working on BMW. BMW is one of my favorite German brands to work on, honestly. Except Mini Cooper. I freaking hate Mini Cooper. Oh my god, they're horrible to work on. How do you know what torque spec to torque stuff to? What I do is I usually go on Google, hop on Google and be like, hey, what's the torque spec for this? And boom, you'll find a bunch of forums. They'll say this is the torque spec, and then boom. Also, All Data has it as well, and things similar to All Data. What about AMSOIL? AMSOIL is pretty awesome, man, you know? Hey, boss, what do you say about Harbor Freight tools do the job? Yes, they do the job. Harbor Freight's awesome. I don't recommend Pittsburgh stuff from Harbor Freight when it comes to ratcheting mechanisms. I hate Pittsburgh ratcheting tools, in my opinion. You can get them if you want. I just don't like them. I'd recommend Icon, Quinn, all the other ones, just not Pittsburgh. However, other Pittsburgh hand tools like hammers and all the other things, perfectly fine. But Harbor Freight, highly recommend them. Very good, very budget friendly. What are your hobbies outside of working on cars, says Leon. My hobbies are working on cars. I mean, other than working on cars, like other than cars in general, like, you know, I game a little bit, not often, but I game a little bit. So I game a little bit. Damn, I'm mainly a car guy, you know, so I like working on cars. I like doing car guy stuff. Like I like going to car meets. I like going for cruises or drives with friends, you know. I like driving. You know, if I can go to a track, I'd love to go to a track. You know, what else do I do? What else do I do? I'm trying to think. I go to. I'm trying to think what else I do. What other hobbies I like, you know? Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the main stuff. I like, yeah, you know, I do some small gaming. You know, music's my thing. I like music. Yeah, I don't have too much hobbies, man. That's crazy. Now that I think about it, you know. Have you worked on the new Golf R, the MK8? I haven't worked on the new Golf R, but I've worked on that generation, like the similar generation. Like, no, I think I've worked up for Golf. I've worked all the way up to I think 2018. I've never worked on anything newer than 2018 or 2017. I forgot what year it was. So wait, you have worked on the new Google torque specs? Yes. Porsche are weirdly logical. Yes, most of the time they are weirdly illogical. Sorry, I'm missing a lot of the questions, guys. Trying to get to it. Have you fixed your Mustang yet? Just wondering. What Mustang? I don't own a Mustang. I don't have a Mustang, man. Or if you're talking to somebody else in this chat, let me know. Eddie says, love you, man. Great advice for anyone working on cars, not just beginners. Thanks, man. Not says, love you, dude. Keep up the good work. Thanks, man. Guys, stream's going to end a little bit soon. But I'm going to try to answer as many questions as I can because I got to go pick up my beautiful daughter. So, your videos have been super useful. I'm glad, man. That's awesome. I don't have a favorite pickled food, man. I don't think I have a favorite pickled food. He says, hey, Jay says, hey, Brian, having Miata with oil in the radiator have confirmed, not a blown head gasket. How do you think about cleaning it out? If you're going to clean it out, that's a good question. They sell like radiator rinse, like flush kits. So you can do like radiator flushes and stuff to get, you know, to kind of help rinse that out. Some people do the old school way where they trickle water in and out of the radiator. You just got to do it at low pressure because too much pressure can ruin them. Don't forget to like and share, guys. Yes, thanks, man. Yes, get on crypto, guys. At almost 70 years, and I concur. No gun range? Oh, come on. Yeah, I don't know. Not too much guns. You know, definitely not too much. Honda Civic says, oh man, I can't wait for the Dollar Tree to drop their line of professional automotive tools. You're hilarious. Dude, I'm 13 and you won't believe how much your videos help. Hey, I'm glad, man. No problem, Crims. All right, let me see what else you got. I want to make sure I get all these questions before I drop out. Yeah, hey, if you're in the stream, to the person who had the Prius that had rattling stuff, did you ever fix your issue? Drop that down in the comments below. Or chat below. No problem, Jay. Garden hose, yes. But you have to very, like, gently trickle the water. You know? That's what we do with the heater cores, at least. With the heater cores, we get the garden hose. If we need, you know, and we put it through one end in the summer. And we let the water come back out the other end, you know? Old school trick. Dude, you have helped so much as a mechanic. No, says Nolan. Thanks, man. No problem. Thanks, Mr. Anonymous, for saying I have a great channel, bro. What kind of, LA says, what kind of socket set you need to work on Sonata? Metric or Imperial? Metric. Typically, it's always metric for Sonata. And the typical size for Sonata is 10, 12, 14, 17, 19, maybe 21. I don't remember if it's 21. But that's pretty much all you need for that. You know, literally all you need. And if it's a very small bolt, it's 7. Or I mean, not 7, 8. What's the best mod for a 7S10? Honestly, I'm not too familiar with it, man. Not sure, bro. What do you guys mainly work on? Are you talking to me or the chat? I mainly work on, recently, I've been working on a lot of German cars. It's been giving me a headache, but, you know, recently I worked on a Hyundai Genesis. Awesome car. I'm going to drop a video for it very soon. I still think a loose heat shield. I don't know why. Yeah, I think it's a loose heat shield. Forever 21. I think American cars went to metric in the 80s. When I make a U-turn, my wheel is bumpy. How bumpy you talking, man? How bumpy we talking? Do you hear any clunking? All right, guys. So I'm gonna answer like one more thing, and then I'm hopping out of here. Hey, my friend. I'm thankful for all your input. No problem, man. Thanks, man. What a great live stream. So glad I was home to watch it. Always love learn from you, my friend. Thanks, man. Really appreciate it, bro. And I wanted to see if I had one more. Yeah, 100 people strong. Let's go, GearheadBryan. Hell yeah. Thanks, man. He probably has all-wheel drive. Bumpy ride on dry roads. Hey, how's it going, Billy? Keep doing what you do. Content helping out all the DIY mechanics. Thanks, man. All right, guys. So I got to hop out to pick up my lovely, small, beautiful daughter. But thank you guys for hopping and joining the stream. Every single Friday, I go live on YouTube and share all my tips, tricks, and answer all of your all of your questions. So again, next Friday, be sure to drop in for a live stream, and I'll be very happy to answer as many questions as I can. Sometimes I spontaneously go live during the week, so maybe I'll go live on a Saturday or Monday or whatever. So be sure to keep in tune for that, guys. But thank you guys so much for joining. Be sure to drop a like before you leave, and I'll see you guys next week. Thanks, Eco. Thanks, Garage Monkey Mechanics. Appreciate it. Have a good weekend. Have a good weekend. Your name here. Have a good weekend, Billy, Kevin, everybody. Really love having you guys here, especially Mark J. Olson too. Thank you guys, all of you guys. Love you all equally. Take care, man. And we also had a lot of votes. That's votes for the poll, so I love that, guys. I'm very glad that Craftsman actually won that. But yeah, nice to see you, Yak Fishing. All right, Mr. Anonymous, have a good weekend. Have a good weekend, Crims. And I'll catch you guys all in the next one. I really hope it helped. Yak Fishing, you know where I'm going. But all right, man. Catch you guys.